Hello, I am here today to tell you about the 10 albums I would save in a fire, if that were ever a thing. First, I should probably tell you I probably wouldn't bother saving any records in a fire. So, while we're shut down and on this lockdown because of COVID, we are putting information out there for you to get to know us better. So I am going to tell you about my top 10 albums that I would save in a fire. I have 3 honorable mentions that I have to mention because they're actually at the top of my list, but I do not have physical copies of them. I do have physical copies of them, but they're cassettes or CDs buried in a box. They're not on vinyl. I do have digital copies of them also, but again, this is a physical thing. So the first 2, This Time Around and Underneath by Hanson. Both of those albums get me deep into my independent entrepreneurial spirit soul. They had problems with their record company. They created their own record company. They didn't necessarily go with the flow of what everybody was telling them to do or telling them what to do, and it really came across in those 2 albums, and it really resonated a lot with me, and I really think those 2 albums helped create me, and that helped create that, like I said, sort of independent, swimming upstream sort of mentality I think that I have. The second one is Madonna's Immaculate Collection. I have that on cassette, and I think I might have it on CD somewhere. And I don't have it on vinyl because it is ridiculously expensive to get on vinyl. That album, my aunt and uncle gave that to me when I was 8, maybe. They gave me the cassette. We were listening to it in the car. I don't remember where we were going apple picking. Don't remember. We were listening to it in the car, and my memories of that album directly go back to them. They were really the ones who introduced me to Madonna, and then they gave me that cassette, and I listened to it over and 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 over again. I would have to say that Madonna is probably one of my biggest female idols, if you will. And I did, funny story, I did ask my mom what a virgin was. Okay, so those are the honorable mentions. Those are the albums I do not physically have, but those are albums that actually are incredibly important to me. Now we're going to move on to the actual top 10 physical albums that I would save in a fire. First, Savage Henry and the infamous One Pounders. This is pure garage cock rock. This is filthy music. This is womanizing. This is trash music, but I love it. And it's really well done. When I say trash, I don't mean it's bad. I mean it's trashy. It's about boobs and butts and beers and all that sort of stuff. And I feel empowered when I sing along to it. That wasn't a joke, I'm serious. Spice Girls. This one is their self-titled debut album. I don't know any person in around my age range that does not have a soft spot for the Spice Girls. I love this. I will play this anytime. Makes me feel good. Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. I have some serious memories tied to this album. I don't know why. I have memories of being at my uncle's house listening to it. I have memories of being at one of my friend's house listening to it. Again, one of my lady heroes. Blondie, Parallel Lines. You guys, I love Debbie Harry. She is my punk rock princess. She is just, she's pure iconic. And so we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I had done my mom's nails a while beforehand, and one had started to pop off while we were in Cleveland. It popped off while we were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, actually, and I took it from her and I flicked it underneath the display of the Blondie costume stuff, and I flicked it underneath of Deborah Harry's dress because I wanted to be close to her. Okay, so just like Jim, I am not a huge Beatles fan. I would much rather listen to Herman's Hermits. They were the 3rd grossing band from the British invasion. You have the Rolling Stones, you have the Beatles, and you have Herman's Hermits. Nobody talks about Herman's Hermits. Why is nobody talking about Herman's Hermits? I don't know. They're brilliant. I saw them when I was in 10th grade. I fell in love. Henry VIII. I love Herman's Hermits. It is cute. It is poppy. It makes my soul pink and happy. So I have a weird obsession with soundtracks. All of them. I specifically chose this one because the first time my mom interacted with my father was at a house party right after the Time Warp had played and he had melted to the ground. She had stepped over him after he was drunk and melted to the ground. She thought, well, he's a fucking idiot, and stepped over him. So I chose this one because now I'm alive and born. Has anyone else noticed the awkward balls hanging there? Okay. Fleetwood Mac rumors. Whenever my mom was cleaning or cooking or puttering about the house or wrapping Christmas presents, well, no, then she was probably listening to Bing Crosby. But anytime she was doing something and listening to music, it was probably rumors. I can remember having Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow stuck in my head when I went to bed as a young child and waking up with it stuck in my head. Okay, so the last three are repeats from what Jim has already mentioned, and I'm sorry about that, but we do sort of share a record collection. And we do have similar tastes in some music. So with that being said, Ghost. I could have chosen some of the other ones, but just quite honestly, this one is up there with one of my favorites. Rats, Dance Macabre. Oh, also thoroughly enjoy 7 Inches of Satanic Panic, but that was just sort of like a single. It wasn't a full album, so I guess it didn't count, but really love that one. Kiss, Destroyer. This is my dad's answer to Fleetwood Mac rumors. If my dad was listening to music, it was probably Kiss, Destroyer. And because of that, now I have a weird connection to it. And lastly, Amigo the Devil, Volume 1, signed by the man himself. Jim introduced me to Amigo the Devil when we first started dating. He played Perfect Wife and it almost brought me to tears. Ugh, brilliant. And while this is a darker album and while it is darker subject matter, I do find that when I'm having an extra low day or I'm feeling really anxious or things just aren't going my way, I find I can put this album on and it actually makes me feel better. Singing along to Dahmer Does Hollywood, there's something about it that just puts a little happy spark inside of me. I can't explain it. I know that makes me sound super creepy. Okay, so those are the top 10 records I would save in a fire if I chose to save records in a fire, plus 2 that don't exist on vinyl and 1 that's too expensive for my blood. Go wash your hands, stay home if you can, and make the best of this situation.